simplistic plastic helicopters, preferably of archaic designs, are of great interest to me. Vendor has additional sealed examples of this, so I'm going to go ahead and open it because I want that Heliocopter. And we get two little mini planes with it. What is that, a Delta Dagger with most of its stabilizer fin missing. Here's our boy. I am fairly certain that the helicopter is based on the Sikorsky H-19, referred to as the Chickasaw, which was a Korean War era helicopter, saw action very briefly in Vietnam. I'd also be open to the idea that it's a UH-34 Choctaw, but the tail assembly is more consistent with that we're seeing on the Chickasaw, as we can tell in this slow, gradual fade. That was fun. Let's try it again with an Air Force CH-19, and sure enough, the contours are pretty much a match. This yellow one here is sort of a simplified copy of this, with some sculpting differences, came out of a different mold. And I want 3 or 4 more of these. I can see the Marines jumping out of that carrying their M14s. These 3 also here float my boat. The little orange thing is a Bruder toy, also based on an H-34. Next to it, a form based on a CH-47, made more recently in China. And then another Vertol Chinook that is looking more and more like it might be a Mark's helicopter from the International Jetport set. A couple hints to the age of the set on the card. The first is an Apollo Command module in splashdown, meaning that it couldn't have been made any earlier than 1968, though the not recommended for children under 3 age warning was not required on toy packaging prior to 1972. The lack of a UPC barcode indicates that it couldn't have been made any later than 1974. My guess is that the year of production would be 1972. The very nicely painted Sikorsky Sea King on the card art is also intriguing in that it's numbered 77. Number 66 was the chopper that recovered the bulk of the Apollo splashdowns, and here indeed is an image from the Apollo 11 recovery that's almost a spit-in image of the painted design itself. Usually they use a nice Sea King there on it. No, that's not a Sea King. Vendor's got more. We'll be back.
Mother Goose, target is painted in green for box 3.
Alright, so here we are in Laos, rescuing the downed pilot. Diorama box. Fit is a little bit tight, but I want more. Interesting. I don't know what those planes are at all. We are hoping they are Russian or Chinese. But which one to open? This has some more variety to it. I should probably point out that here in Syracuse, we refer to Heliocopters, not helicopters. And I wouldn't be opening this other one if I wasn't confident that I could get more. I guess I'm sort of hoping that this is an A6 because I've sort of wanted one. I wanted a Canberra as well. I want those Vietnam-era bombers that didn't get all the press that the Phantoms and B-52s got. That's definitely a Voodoo. Distinctive tail fin. Here's our Heliocopter, just as or more beautiful than the other. Marked Hong Kong on the underside of its bottom plate. This just got interesting. Here's the one from the last bag. No mark at all. Hong Kong on one, no Hong Kong on the other. Oh, did you spot it? They're different helicopters. I didn't realize it until I was actually editing. The new arrival on the left there has sort of wider doors, and the one on the right has sort of a clipper canopy. It also looks like the one on the right has a higher placed cockpit location for the pilot. I gotta think this new arrival is a Huey UH-1, stylized for the Hong Kong toy trade. And the best news is that without even realizing they were different, I left the one sealed that I'd already had open. Right on, Steve. It looks archaic and dilapidated and like it might not even make it to the base, and that's what I want. Alright, so we got one still sealed for when it's time for another one. And these guys are stuck in Laos waiting for another ride.